All right, 5 seconds in. We'll start at about 10 seconds. Yeah, so we are live today, and we are overcoming challenging English words. So if there are any type of English words you have an issue with, I am here to help. Beautiful day in Southern California today. Just amazing day. Nice and bright. The sun is shining. So welcome to the chat, everybody. If you have any questions about which English words you need help with, please feel free to send them in the chat. One problem people often have is there, as in T-H-E-I-R, there, T-H-E-R-E, and there, as in they are, T-H-E-Y-R-E, or apostrophe R-E. So if anyone has any questions about what they want to learn or which words they want to learn, just let me know. And if you don't have any questions, then we will just get started. There's another one that's kind of interesting, then and than. T-H-E-N, then, and then T-H-A-N. The T-H-A-N, that's greater than. That's a word that has an A instead of an E. And then is something that symbolizes something in time. Like, first we drove, then we went to the gym. So then, which then would we use there? The one with the E, then. But if you say, I played soccer yesterday, and I played soccer today, and today I played better than I did yesterday, the T-H-A-N is the correct then you should use there. So then and then. But it's a little tricky because you don't really hear the difference between then and than. So we can stay on that one if you like. We can expand on it. Then, T-H-E-N. How would you guys use that in a sentence? T-H-E-N. That's usually like a separation in time. First we did something, then we did something else. That's with the E and then. That's a good one. Everyone, welcome to the chat. Talk about whichever words you want to talk about. Or if you have any relationship questions, I can give you some relationship advice. Yeah. As far as relationships, you can think about other people's perspectives. You can say, okay, well, would I like this if this person did this to me? Would I feel better then? So, which then would we use? T-H-E-N or T-H-A-N? I would feel better then. So it's a separation in time. That would be the T-H-E-N. I would feel better then. But another thing that you can think about is if that sentence continues, I would feel better than I do now if you did this. Then that then turns into a T-H-A-N. I would feel better than now if you did this. What else can we say? How are you, Soul R3R6I? Thank you. Welcome to the chat. Are there any questions you need answered or English words that you want me to work on? How's your day going today? And thank you for making an effort and typing in the chat. It makes me happy. And if you want, you can say where you're from and what some goals are for 2026. Another tricky word is compliment. So there's compliment with an I and compliment with an E. So say, for instance, this color complements my skin tone. Is that with an I or is that with an E? So everything is going great. Thank you so much for asking. Enjoying life, living, working, trying to help people on the way and trying to do as many lives as possible. We're doing a live every single day of 2026. Blonde Beauty, hey, how are you? Thank you for joining the chat. Yeah, if anyone is bold enough, you don't have to speak about yourself, but you can speak about someone else if you have any type of relationship questions or if you have any English words that you need help pronouncing. I'm near LA, yes, so I'm near LA. Where are you located? LA, Los Angeles, California. Are there any tricky words that you have a problem with? Another tricky one is lose or loose. So one of them has one O, lose has one O, L-O-S-E. And then loose has two O's, L-O-O-S-E. So if you have a screw and a nut, if you want to loosen that, would you use the single O or the double O? So if you loosen something, it's a little longer, so it's two O's. But if you lose something, then it's one O. So if you have that nut and you lose it, that's one O, like uh-oh. So that could be a mnemonic for you to learn how to remember the difference between loose and lose. Curious, Soul and Blonde Beauty, what makes you happy? What are some things that actually make you happy, like make yourself fulfilled? Is there something in your life that you're like, you know what, this really makes me happy? Kind of like, say you're exercising at the gym, you're sweating a lot, and maybe that first drink of water when you're dehydrated, you're like, oh my gosh, I feel so good. Did not know that, John. Thank you for the chat. Very good to know. And what is that beneficial for, John? If you can, please just let me know. Yes, nature is beautiful. Nature is amazing. Nature is something that you feel so good in. You have fresh air. You're with your own thoughts. And also, can you bring that sense of nature to yourself in any situation? Like, what are those things that you love about nature? Yeah, John, I can surprise my friends. All right, with well, what do you mean by that? Like, what would I do with those 7 to 8 rats? I'll be droned. Welcome to the chat, my buddy. Good to see you again. If you guys want good FPV footage, go check out I'll Be Droned. Yeah, there's something spectacular about nature. Very, very special. And it is calming, it's soothing. It feels so good being there, especially FPV, flying through nature. I'm loving your Matty flips and your power loops over those trees. Those are really, really cool. Or wait, no, your Matty flip was in the sim, but your power loop over the tree, like, and your spins, they're so great. They're so great. Amazing spins. You got your rates dialed in, and that's really cool, man. That's awesome. There you go, John. All right, John, where are you from? And what is your infatuation with that animal? But thank you for the chat. I appreciate it, buddy. Very good. Yeah, so one of those things is, how can you find that sense of like calmness and peace even in like tough situations? One person said that a reason people pass early is because yeah, I do, bro. One reason people pass early is because there's way too much stress in their life. So if you can figure out a way to minimize stress in your life, like take for instance your whole being and your whole feeling while you're in nature, and take that mentality and mindset and that clear thinking and keep that through even really tough, hectic situations where you can overcome problems. Stay calm, my friends, and keep moving forward. That's very important. That's true. Yeah. Prioritize all of your things that you need to do and just get the most important things done first. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, there's a few things happening in the news, and I haven't been watching it too much because I'm kind of interested in my own sorts of things. So, fulfilling your mind and your mental space is very important as well, with things that actually are beneficial to do. And yeah, so growing through that uncomfortable stage is actually kind of important too, where you expand beyond what you think is actually possible. And you kind of take that deep dive into what you really want to do in your life. And that's very inspiring. You can do so many amazing things whenever you step outside of your comfort zone. And that's a really important thing to do. Try doing something new. Always try doing something new, especially if it's good for you. You know, if it's a bad thing, don't do it. Also, another thing is there's this lady who crossed the double yellow and sped past a cop. Cop had his hands up and she just kept on going. And so he finally got in the car and pulled her over. And who knows like what she did that for? She didn't have to do that. But the thing is, what type of music was she listening to? What inspired her to make those wrong moves? Yeah, dude, mainstream media sucks really bad. I agree with that. So another thing is like, what type of things are in your brain, and what motivate you to do those certain types of things? Yeah, pickleball is a great exercise. A lot of people in California are doing that too. A lot. Yeah, yeah. Especially and you meet new friends with those exercises too, you know. That's one of the best things about sports. with every sport you play, even the solo sports. So I did swim for a while, and it's a solo sport. You're alone, you're swimming, but before the pool and after the pool, you're with friends, and then also you try new things. You know, you have these like training routines where you need to pull one person to, you know, get your stroke a little stronger, or and you create these little groups. And so that's one way to meet like healthy friends and good people, is to join like some type of sport, or just get out of your house. Another interesting thing is, I was at Chipotle a few nights ago, and I was, you know, after work sitting alone having my burrito bowl. And I noticed that the only people that were sitting there and actually communicating were all foreigners. So I think there was like, you know, there's a group of 3 guys and 3 girls, all foreigners, just sitting and talking and like being in person. I didn't see one like American English speaker with friends. And I was just so curious. I was like, it's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. What happened to like friends getting together and just having a Chipotle bowl? You know, I saw another guy, he was alone, but it was so interesting to see that mostly foreigners are actually getting together and like communicating and having like a lifestyle, and say, okay, I can give 1 hour of my day to just communicate with somebody and meet a new friend or chat with somebody. So yeah, it seems like social media has kind of brought us together in a way where we see each other. Like, Albie Drone is awesome. I see his work all the time, but it'd be cool to grab a beer with him sometime, you know, like actually be in person and say some jokes or whatever. And just, it'd be really cool to meet new people. And I think that's one good thing that will change. Like, I think it's just too much of, people are too confined into their own area. They're too alone. They're too, their ego is too big, where like someone will say, oh, that person thinks I'm too skinny, or I'm too fat, or I have a weird accent, or I don't know, whatever. It's important to be like social and to get out and communicate with people. And so doing those 2 things, which is like sport and socializing, those are really cool. Like, if you can get both of those at the same time, because you're doing something healthy and you're communicating, meeting new friends, it's a really cool thing to do. I'm just curious, out of everybody in the chat, when's the last time you like went through your phone book and then tried to call an old friend and not want anything from them, just kind of see if, like, hey, you know, I remember this time when we were at the soccer field, scored that goal. That was really cool, man. Hopefully you're doing well, and your family and all that stuff, or whatever, you know. Can you do that? You know, just reach out and kind of network and socialize with people, because it's just so important. And then you also see those people that you're like, oh yeah, we don't get along at all. Like, either it's something like politics or an idea or something they did or whatever. Okay, yeah. But also, you can have friends from different political backgrounds. That doesn't matter. You know, when it comes down to it, we're all just like humans on this earth, and a lot of us are trying to make this world a better place, and some of us are not. So I guess, yeah, communicating with people, it's so important. If you can, just communicate. Yeah, man, you check in with friends all the time. That's the best, man. That is the absolute best. And actually, you have a really cool community. Like, a lot of people love you, Albie Drone. That's really cool, man, that you do that. And it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. So yeah, if you can, just kind of communicate with your friends, get together, see, like, have a few options in your brain. Like, have like 5 or 6 options of like, okay, if I call this person, what are like 5 or 6 things we can do that will benefit both of us? And so instead of like, after that day, your quality of life goes down, your quality of life actually expands and goes up. And so you become better, and the friends that you're hanging out with become better as well. That's a cool thing. It takes mental mental strength and mental stamina. But now with like all of the AI tools that we have, like say for instance, I say, okay, I do video content and I do real estate. So there's like two things I do. And then I have another friend who does music and is making a record. So that's like, all right, we have a few things going there. RJ Sasha, how are you? Yeah, FPV community is awesome, man. That's so true. So we have those 4 sections there. Like, what can we do with those things? So maybe with my video content, I can help like create a music video. And then with his music talent, he can create a song. In the future, he might need to purchase a bigger studio, and then I can help him find that because I'm a real estate agent. And you know, maybe he needs some FPV content, then I'll be drowned, or I'll shoot it, and we'll both shoot it, and it'll be an excuse for all of us to get together and do something like creative and cool and fun. Like, why not think about like those types of ideas and then actually make those little baby steps towards those ideas to like fulfill those dreams and to get those dreams going, because that's what it's all about, you know. Just I remember, so I've been doing like construction, home renovations for quite some time, and for a while I was working with people that I just really didn't have too much in common with and didn't get along with. I remember this one guy, he's like, you know what, man, if you want to be happy, you got to work with people that make you very, very, like that are friends, you know, like that are cool or like easy to work with. And so instead of, you know, finding some person that's, you know, maybe good at the trade but not really cool to communicate with, I'd rather work with somebody that I enjoy being around and spending time with, because you only have one life. You got to live your life and enjoy your life. So there's another thing that happened with Bill Burr and Howie Mandel. He's like, Bill Burr, you're like making all these movies and you're making these comedy series and you're doing this and that, and you know me, you have my phone number, you call me, like, why don't you call me for these movies, these projects? And so Bill Burr goes, you know what, Howie, I like you sometimes, but you have all these things where like you're just too much, you know. You won't shake people's hands. Time off, sometimes it's a maybe, yeah. He's like, I kind of like you, but like you're just difficult to deal with. And so that whole like personality part, like where someone's really difficult to deal with, Howie Mandel lost some gigs with Bill Burr, which is probably up there with one of the funniest comedians, you know. And like, sure, he's on that talent show, Howie Mandel's on the talent show, but to create like really cool art where people would be like, oh man, I'm gonna watch this in 10 years, I'm gonna watch this in 20 years. Like, that's really a staple in artistry. If someone looks back and is like, okay, this is really good. So just out of his like own thought process and his personality, he's kind of losing out on gigs, even though he's extremely talented. So yeah, we're going live every day of 2026. So turn on subscriptions, subscribe, turn on the notifications if you guys want to see more of this content. And I just want to say thank you, everybody. Signing off, and take care.